Hi, welcome to my second channel, English Fluency TV, and in this English lesson, let's learn English through learning to drive. And the topic of this lesson is the learner worries about the car behind too much, especially when they are dealing with junctions, roundabouts, traffic lights. Let's start the lesson. When you're learning something new, in the beginning, you're always going to be slow. So here, you're learning to drive. So when you're learning to drive, you're always going to be slow in the beginning because this is something new for you. You've never done this before and you are learning so that you could improve and you could become a driver. And for you to do that, for you to achieve, for you to pass the driving test and become a driver, you need to go through the process. And the process is, in the beginning, you're always going to be slow. Especially when you're learning in a manual car, you are dealing with clutch, you are dealing with changing gear, you'll have to learn the clutch control. And for you to do all of that, it's going to take time for you to learn, and sometimes you're going to be slow in the beginning. And when you are slow, what the learners are doing is they are thinking of others too much, especially when they go to a junction, when they go to a traffic light, when they go to a roundabout, they're thinking of the car behind. They're thinking what they are thinking. What if I don't move off quickly? What they're going to do? What they are thinking. Remember, the car behind is not your problem. Your problem is how you should move the car off quickly. That's your problem. If you could do that, you solve the problem for the car behind, don't you? If you think of them and not think of how you should move the car off, what's going to happen is you're going to take longer, and you might even stall the car if you're driving a manual car, and you're going to make it even more longer, which means you're not actually helping the car behind. If you really want to help the car behind and others, you need to think of how you should do things so that you could move the car off quickly on junctions. So I wouldn't worry about the car behind. Remember, they had to learn one day. And if they're not patient today with you and they get angry, that's not your problem. You're a learner. You're paying for your lessons. You have the right to be on the road to learn to drive. Okay? You're not doing anything illegal. And it's not like you're going there and you're stopping there for a few hours. You're just going and you're learning. And maybe you're a bit slow in the beginning, but that's fine. If you worry too much about the car behind, what they're thinking, what's going to happen is you're going to get nervous, you're going to get anxious, and because of that, you're going to take even more longer to move the car quickly. Why? Because you might stall the car. You don't know which control to use, especially if you're learning in a manual car. You have to deal with the clutch, you have to bring the clutch to the biting, you have to learn where the biting is. And to do all that, you need to think how you should do things. If you think and worry about the car behind too much, you are giving less importance of how you should be doing things. So if I were you, I wouldn't worry about the car behind, because if you solve the problem of you, how you should move the car quickly, how you should use the control to move the car quickly, you have solved the problem for the car behind. You're not going to solve it by thinking and worrying about what they are thinking. Remember, they had to learn one day. And just because they passed and they forget how they've learned and they are not patient with you today, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to learn. So don't waste time thinking what they're thinking. If you really want to help, like I said, think how you should move the car. Learn how you should move the car quickly. So what's going to happen in the beginning is that you are approaching a traffic light. You are approaching a hill going up. You are approaching a roundabout. You are approaching a junction. What's going to happen, because you are one of those people who worries about others too much, who worry about the car behind, what's going to happen? As you are approaching one of them, you're going to start to feel nervous. You're going to start to feel anxious. And because of that, you're not thinking what you should be doing. You're not thinking about the control you should be using. And what's happening? You are making it even more longer to learn because you're not thinking what you should be doing. Now, when I say don't worry about them, it doesn't mean you don't care about them. Obviously, you're on the road. You have to care about others, what others are doing, what others are thinking. But like I said, you could only make them happy if you are happy. If you're not happy, you're never going to make them happy. That's the rule of life, isn't it? Not just in driving, in anything. If you're not happy with yourself, you're never going to make others happy. In driving, you need to make sure you become a driver. You learn everything about the car. You learn everything about the controls. You learn how the car works. The more importance you put into that and not about others, more quicker you're going to learn to move the car off quickly on junctions, on roundabouts, on traffic light. Trust me, if you put more importance on you and be happy to yourself, trust me, you will make others happy. Why? Because you learn to move off quickly on junctions. That way, others are happy. They don't have to be slow because of you. They don't have to get angry because of you. They don't have to be patient because of you. But giving them more importance than you, that's going to take you longer to learn, and you have to go through the process of stress and anxious and all that. You need less stress on your learning. And one of the way you put less stress on your learning is don't worry about the car behind. Car behind is always going to be there. You wanted this driving, so you made that choice to be with others. So there's always going to be car behind. You're never going to be driving alone by yourself all your life. There's always going to be car behind you. And in the beginning, like I said, don't get nervous what the car behind is thinking. They get angry, they're not patient with you, they don't have time for you. That's not your problem. Put more importance the things that you need to do. That way, you learn quicker and you will make everyone happy around you. Because you've learned everything quickly, and now you don't have to worry about the car behind because you know how to move the car quickly on junctions.